Hmm. Wonderful. Welcome everyone to Fierce Friday. My name is Stephanie Dawn. I'm the chair of the Million Mom Movement, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm joined by my council, two of whom I get the supreme honor of interviewing today. We're in our Meet the Council series, and I'm excited to bring to you my colleagues Taz Ferreira and Rebecca Johns. And then we've got a really juicy hot topic that we're going to be sharing about. And the piece that I want to start with today is something that we're doing a bit of a pivot here with the Million Mom Movement and Fierce Friday. So we started Fierce Friday back in January to really take on General Mills, who our council has been well aware of the fact that they've been serving us, selling us toxic food for a very long time. For those of you who have studied the issue of glyphosate, you know that glyphosate has been used on America's farmlands for 40 years. The more recent news that has come to light is that glyphosate is now a known carcinogen. And I myself, it affected my own son, Zephyr, who enjoyed Cheerios for the first 7-8 years of his life until I realized, thanks to the detoxproject.org's report in conjunction with Food Democracy Now, where I learned that Cheerios have the highest parts per billion of glyphosate on them of all the products tested in 2016. So I started Fierce Friday so that I could use this platform, use this role as the chair of the Million Mom Movement to really catalyze the community that we have here, which is an incredible community of deeply concerned moms and dads and grandparents and aunts and uncles, aunties, it just goes on, right? Whether we're joined by blood or not, we have a lot of people in our life that care about our children. So we've been doing this letter writing campaign all these months, and the council had an amazing idea recently to pivot and to stop the letter writing campaign and to create a petition. So without further ado, I'd really like to bring on Naiva Flory and Rebecca Johns, who've been working hard on this petition for the last couple of weeks, to share with you about why we're doing this and why we're so excited to be making this pivot, to be bringing really the masses to this very important topic. So without further ado, Naiva, please lead us.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on. And I am super passionate about this subject. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a part of Purium for 5.5 years. I'm currently a Blue Diamond with Purium. And I have the great honor to be on the council for the Million Mom Movement and share through our social media platforms. So while I'm here, I'm just going to encourage you all, if you're not following our Million Mom Movement on Facebook and Instagram, please do. And today we are super excited because Rebecca Johns and I have been diving into learning more about petitions. And we have created a petition around removing glyphosate from our food. And the reason this is so important is because so many people out there don't actually know the issue with glyphosate on our food. For me personally, I grew up in Hawaii, and most of you may not know this, but Hawaii is ground zero for GMOs and glyphosate. This is where they make the seed crops that they then grow in Nebraska and everywhere else across the country and everywhere else in the world. And so the issue here in Hawaii is that, most people see it as paradise. It's this beautiful place. The other part of it is we don't really have seasons. So because of that, instead of taking 7 years to create a hybrid GMO seed, they can actually do that in 2 years. They can create 7 generations of seed crops in under 2 years, which is crazy when you think about how they're deteriorating our food at a rapid pace because of this this loophole that they've basically found on our tropical islands. And so we've been fighting against it for so long. I recently went to the other side of the island where they grow a lot of these seed crops. And I happened to notice that Monsanto and Syngenta changed their names on their buildings. And I looked it up and it is still their companies. They just changed their names. And so that was really interesting. I dove a little bit into that, and I was really, I was really saddened by the fact that they just keep changing their names or doing things to make it look like we got our way and we kicked them off the island. But in actuality, they just came it back in under a different label and a different, a different umbrella basically. And so it's really frustrating out here in Hawaii. On the west side of the island, those farms are around schools and hospitals. Primarily local families live there. So it's kind of like when you go to maybe on the mainland, what a reservation would look like. And all around there, they, you know, kind of, that's where they oil mine and do things like that. Well, here in Hawaii is where they grow their GMOs and around where the natives live. And it's called Hawaiian Homelands. And they've gotten leases on this land for like $1 a year, you guys, per acre. And this is crazy because even the locals have to pay super high rent here in Paradise to live here. So this is a huge issue here in Hawaii and for all of us, because what these seed crops do is then they plant them and they are able to withstand the chemicals, glyphosate, dicamba, and many others. And through that, you know, a lot of people don't realize, but that chemical gets absorbed into the plant, and then either animals eat that plant, or we eat the corn or the soy or the wheat, or maybe even the oats. And in other cases, the animals eat it, and maybe we drink their milk or eat the meat for those of us that eat meat. And so it is a huge issue. And we've realized that Cheerios has the highest part per billion. And so our first petition is against General Mills, and it's asking them to please hear our voices and please remove the ingredients that contain glyphosate and to replace it with organic ingredients or organic solutions, organic options for us to still be able to purchase from them products that they make, but that they can make better decisions with their own ingredient purchasing decisions. And so that's what this petition is about. And I'll grab the link and post it in the comments, or maybe one of you ladies can do that. And so what we want to encourage you to do is to share this petition, use it as a tool out there in the community. For myself, the Million Mom movement has really been like the wind beneath my wings, something else that I can share about besides the product and the business opportunity. Sharing about our mission and our movement is really what's helped me propel my business throughout the years. It gives me something to lean on. It gives me a whole movement that is behind me, so I'm not alone doing this. And so I want to encourage you all to pick that up and use that for your own self, because everybody here, we are the Million Mom movement as our newest hashtag, and all of you here make the Million Mom movement. You're all a part of our movement here. So, you know, take this petition and go out there and share it with your community, share it with your friends, and share with them what this means to you, and inspire them with our community. Invite them to our next Fierce Fridays. These are going to be a little bit more business forward calls. So we invite you to open it up to your community and invite them to come here and join us and learn more about what we're doing. And together we're going to change the world and the way that our food supply is given to us for, you know, ourselves and our families and our children. And that's what we're all here to do, is create change. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I'm super excited. Rebecca, I'll hand it over to you. And thank you all so much for being here.
Wow, I wish there was an applause button somewhere that we could all just clap and stand. I know that all of you are with me on how epic everything you just said was, sister. And this is why I tell you when we talk, I'm moved to tears being in your space and sharing this mission with you. And you, right, Brittany. Brittany's got him going. She's got him. She found it. You know, the power in what I would like to highlight in what you said, because there was so much, but I think the part that each of us can own is that we are moms, dads, caregivers, people with interest. Whatever role, whatever hat you wear, you're a person with interest in being part of a solution. And, you know, as Nayeva and I did the research on the petition platforms and what format we would use and how we would go about this, we began to discover so many little diamonds in the rough. So my name is Rebecca Johns. I'm a diamond in Flint, Michigan, and it it can be rough. And there are so many of us in little places and in big places in this country and around the world that are facing the same issues, and that is that our food systems have been compromised. And, you know, it can be pretty simple to fall into a trap of, well, who am I and how am I going to take on major corporations? Who am I and what difference can I really make? But the truth is that collectively, we are the biggest power source on the planet, and that's the power of being a consumer. It's the power of voting with dollars. And it's the power of being able to get together in a platform like the Million Mom movement. Yes, Stephanie, the power of being a mom, where together we really can cause a momentous change. And that's what this petition, the shift to petition, is really about. We realized that we were asking people each Fierce Friday to take a template, a letter that they could personalize and send in to General Mills. But let's face it, we all want to do something and mean to do something, and then we don't do it. And so as moms, we thought, I mean, hello, what would make it easier for me as a mom to have my voice be heard? And that's a click of a button. So you see in the comments here, Stephanie Dawn has placed the petition link. You can click that link. You'll see the petition that introduces the Million Mom movement, because we expect that this profile will be built over the years with many petitions that go into all the matters that matter to us, not just glyphosate, but food coloring, and not just food coloring, but preservatives and sugar substitutes and plastics. There's so much. Just the sustainability of companies. Are they being conscious corporations and using practices that will support our world still being around for future generations? So there's a lot that the Million Mom movement in this petition conversation intends for the long run. So for those of you listening, please know that your single signature, your single click makes so much of a difference, because our first goal is to reach 1,000 people with signature. We're looking for the first 1,000 signatures that petitions General Mills and really says this: we don't want to boycott General Mills. That's not ultimately our goal. We don't want to have to do that. We would like this petition with 1,000 signatures to be received as a conscious and creative dialogue between we, the consumers, and you, the corporation, to shift supply and demand. You are no longer supplying the demand that you've been allowed to supply previously. We're demanding more, we're demanding better. We're asking it of you. And if that can't happen, we're pulling away our blood source to you, which is our dollars. And so we don't want this to be an aggravation conversation. We want this to be a consciously created dialogue between consumers and corporations, just as Purium is in the world. It's a corporation that works to be as conscious and creative as possible. It has an open dialogue between the field and itself, and it takes that constructive criticism and is constantly, we say that we're the transformation company, we're always transforming ourselves as we offer transformation to others. So the power in this is that you're not alone. As we researched, we found lots of, Janice in Idaho that had 24 signatures to remove glyphosate, and, Amy in California that had 74, and that's wonderful. That means there are people out there that really care about this conversation, but we want those people to connect together and synergistically have more power together than we have apart. And we're offering that through the Million Mom movement and the launch of this first petition. So please copy the link, share it everywhere you can, and don't forget to sign it for yourself. We are so grateful to have you to count on and to be able to link arms with you. So thank you. Sarah said signed and done. Yes.
Yay.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm turning it over to you, Stephanie.
Great. I'm so proud of us. Really, we are a force to be reckoned with, and that's what I and we are here to remind you of every single week. We're a force to be reckoned with as Purium brand partners, and we're a force to be reckoned with as women and men and people that make economic decisions every day that determine what it is we're putting on our plates and what it is we're putting into our bodies. So thank you for your hard work, Naiva and Rebecca. I'm so proud to be working with you both in support of this incredibly important mission. Okay, woohoo! We're starting off with a bang today. Okay, so I'm excited to be sharing with you our council, our gorgeous council of moms on a mission, and I want to call forth Taz Ferreira. Hello, Taz. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm calling in from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yay!
I've been with Purium for 3 years, and I'm Green Diamond with the company and a Purium professor.
Yay. Wow, I didn't know that, Taz.
Yes.
See, I'm getting to know Taz is our most recent council member. And so I'm excited to be doing this with you, Taz, because I'm getting to know my council better. And so I did not know you were a Purian professor. And for those of you that don't know what that is, you have an opportunity to study with Dave Sandoval and learn from his academy and become a Purian professor yourself. If you're a Purian brand partner, and if you want to become a Purian brand partner, or a customer, or you don't even know what that is, then just reach out to the person that invited you here, and we will be happy to share more with you about that. So Taz, my goodness, you are a mom on a mission. You're a mother of two, and I was just reading your bio this morning. Taz has overcome many health obstacles along with facing medical issues with her son. So I want to get into that a little bit more with you, Taz. She's worked in the medical field, specializing in cellular biology and genetics. She has found a strong passion with plant nutrition, like so many of us. And now she's sharing her mission with every parent and empowering all mothers to be their own health advocate. And what I love about how you have joined us in the council, Taz, is you are in the Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook, sharing really wonderful recipes, going live in there often. So if you're not in the Million Mom Movement official group on Facebook, you want to get in there, ask for us, to accept you in there, because that's what you have to do now on Facebook. And then you'll see Taz in action with her son. Do you have two sons, or do you have one son and one daughter, Taz?
I have a 6-year-old son and I have an 11-year-old daughter. It's harder to get her on screen.
Yeah, the older ones are yeah, more difficult. They're more cooperative when they're younger.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what you've been dealing with your own children in terms of their health, Taz.
Okay, well, I started my journey 11 years ago. I had, as you mentioned, lots of medical issues, okay? And when I overcame all of those issues, okay, should I give you a summary of everything I overcame? Okay, because it's quite a list. I had aura migraines. Like while working in the labs, I was going through all of these issues. I had aura migraines. I had GERD, but the worst form of GERD, where it was like eroding my esophagus. And I had dysmenorrhea, which is like when I had my period, I was home. I could not go anywhere. Whenever I heard women were working out when they had their periods, I was like, what? How? Right? And then it led to Crohn's. And I always say one thing led to the other because that's what happened. I started off with one problem and they kept piling on the medication. I was on so much prescription medication. It was incredible. It was bags, literal bags of medication. So one thing led to the other, and it was all mental and gut health. And at that time, we knew nothing, right? So we came to a point where I had maybe 3-4 MRIs a year because I was so convinced I had a brain tumor. I would tell my neurologist, check again, check again. It doesn't make sense. My migraines were so severe that I would vomit. It was constant. I had an attack. I had to be alone in the dark in my room vomiting. And they would tell me, they're like, okay, you have to live like this. Everything they told me was, this is your normal. This is your normal, and this is how you have to live. And you know what I was noticing as well with them is that they didn't care about how I was feeling and looking at any cause. There was no cause. It was always just medicate and make the band-aid to the problem bigger. They were just saying, but look, you're living. They were not looking at my quality of life, because my quality of life was awful. I woke up feeling awful. I went to bed feeling awful. But they never addressed that problem not at all. And you know, not even addressing it, they weren't concerned about it. So the more I understood, because I went into this field to heal people. My whole intention was to heal. And the more I understood, we were healing no one. We were making a band-aid to the problem, and no one really cared. Whenever there was my migraines, they only looked at it here. Like it didn't go past here. They didn't realize that the body is connected. It's not a head walking by itself or intestines walking by itself. I was always so blown away how they're not connecting everything together. We always have to start off as physicians. You need to know the whole body. So they were not making this connection. So I started looking, I feel I got guided to look into plant nutrition to start healing myself. And within 6 months, I healed myself.
Wow.
And this is like no sugar, like real healthy living. And then this happened to my son. I'm living my healthiest of life, as so I thought. You know, you think you're at that like plateau that you're the healthiest self. No one could have told me anything, but it needed to happen to my kids for me to listen, because I wouldn't listen to anyone. If anyone told me anything, I would have shut them down right away. So it happens to my son.
What
He's
happened?
born 16 months. 16 months he's born. Eczema everywhere. Everywhere. He's going to the bathroom 8 times a day. And he starts demonstrating what I recognize as Crohn's. As a baby. Here I am all over again at the emergency room with my son, getting blood tests, genetic testing, everything, seeing every single specialist. It was, I am reliving my life all over again through my son. I don't know what to do. I am living my healthiest self. I'm looking at people going into McDonald's. I'm upset. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't eat junk food. How is this happening to me? Then I heard of, I had to go to a specialist, right? And then I got brought aware. Have you heard of glyphosate? Glyphosate? What are you talking about? Honestly, I thought this was a term that someone was making up. Okay? I did not think it was real. I had never heard about it. And I was not doing organic foods. I honestly didn't understand the importance of organic foods. I thought all of this was marketing. I thought it was a way for us to pay more. But I had to be taught, it had to happen to me personally. So they told me at the hospital, they're like, okay, there's nothing we can do. I asked them, I'm like, should I take my son off gluten? And they told me specifically, do not take your son off gluten. You are not of Eastern European descent, and that would be an irresponsible parenting if you do that. I don't know. So now, but I am questioning my whole self as a parent, right? Because I'm like, I must be doing something wrong. Maybe, you know, they're making me feel like everything's my fault. Oh, they told me you need to put cortisone all over him. And of course I do it because I'm a desperate parent. I just want my son to feel better. Any drug they had, I'm like, give it to me, because I must be doing something wrong. Then I got introduced to glyphosate. And I was very, very resistant to what is glyphosate. So I got explained of the microbiome and the gut health. Okay, this sounds like it makes sense. It makes sense. And you know what I love? There was medical studies of everything. So I'm like, great, press release, medical studies. You're being completely transparent and tell me what's in everything. And this product called Biomedic. Okay, it's all food. Sure, I can be on board and try this. So I opened a capsule, because at that time we only had a capsule. So I opened the capsule and I would sprinkle it on my son's tofu scramble. Within 3 days, 3 days of my son behaving how he was, everything went away. Everything. Eczema was gone, proper bowel movements, behavior. Like, I cannot stress how difficult it was for us. You know, when you go through, you're in pain and you're crying and like sweating in pain, this is what we had to deal with my son every day, being on us, almost like a fetal like position, always in pain. And after the biomedic,
amazing.
it changed our
Wonderful.
life.
Wonderful. I love hearing your testimonial. Oh my goodness gracious. So Taz, that's an amazing story. And I'm so happy that you were able to heal yourself and to really turn the health around of your son. I'd like to know, I want to pivot for a moment here because you're very successful within Purium. You are a green diamond, correct? On the cusp of blue, I know.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me, tell me, what are you most proud of in terms of what you've been able to do with your Purium business?
Helping so many people, and actually helping people empower themselves and take back their health.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I found has been missing in our life every day. And so many people reversing so many things that they all thought was genetic, that they finally see success and feeling their best self.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then in terms of, you're a mom on the mission, like so many of us here. What's the hardest thing about being a mom on the mission for you?
Okay, the hardest thing about being a mom on a mission is moms don't know that this problem exists. Do you know how many moms I talk to? And I would talk to glyphosate in Cheerios, especially. But we have so many things besides Cheerios, right?
Yep.
They are not convinced. They tell me, well, if it's so toxic, why do they sell it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would like to know. Why do they sell it?
Right. Well, and when I first contacted General Mills 6 months ago, they told me that they were following all the EPA standards and that there was no issue with their product whatsoever. So we think that they have our best, our health in mind, but they don't. They don't. So I'm sorry, continue.
Well, that's the number one thing, that parents don't believe it's an issue. And I feel that they don't think it's an issue until it affects their family, until something happens. So everything is preventative. Why not avoid this toxin? So I always put this in their mind. You know, when you have those poison with the skull and the X, think of it like that. Would you feed poison to your kids? And they look at me, no, of course not. Well, what's the difference? I'm like, well, Cheerios, it's the same. Golden, the fish, the same. The fish crackers, the same.
Yep.
Exactly.
Goldfish. Yeah. Oh, Taz, wow. Thank you so much. I know that you're right where you're supposed to be in working with us and working as a Purium brand partner and continuing to share in the way that you do and educate moms. Thank you so much for your work. And thank you for allowing me to get to know you a little bit better and the entire field to get to know you. We're grateful to have you on the council.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And thank you. I'm honored to be part of this council. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yay. All right. So now I'd like to bring on Ms. Rebecca Johns. Are you there, lady?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Rebecca.
Okay,
Let
fabulous.
me read your bio, girl. So Rebecca Johns is a mother, a minister, a holistic practitioner, and she's been a member of the Purium family since 2014, so 6 years. She has a passion for helping people eat, live, and age well, and believes it is a birthright to experience quality living at every age, and that clean food and food systems are the foundation. Rebecca is a diamond with Purium, and she's been serving the Million Mom Movement Council since 2020. This year, which will go down in history, won't it, Rebecca Johns?
Definitely. Epic. Epic.
Yeah. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us, and I'm so glad you're working with us on this council, and thank you again for everything that you have done in regards to the petitions. And if somebody could go ahead and just share the petition link again in the chat, that would be amazing. So, you know, Rebecca, we deal with a lot as moms in terms of health and, you know, just our own health, the health of our children. What was it for you that really brought you to this work of being a mom on a mission?
Well, I love that Taz's story is that she was at this, you know, perceived height of her health, because I was the other end of the pendulum swing. I had, you know, I've always carried extra weight. I was chubby and cute, and I got away with kind of a horrible diet and thought I was getting away with it. I never really had health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And about 9 years ago, I had a pregnancy, my last child, and it was an ABO incompatible pregnancy, which means our blood types were not compatible. He took his father's blood type, unbeknownst to us. It was a contraindication. And it was undetected, undiagnosed, so untreated. And we went full term. And so as a result, as you would imagine, like getting the wrong blood type in a blood transfusion, you can create incredible disease up to and including death. And by the time the pregnancy was complete, when I delivered, I had exploded to over 400 pounds. I had IBS, diabetes, bursitis, arthritis, skin disorders, anxiety and depression that literally disabled me. I had been a business owner and a homeschool mom for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shut me down. I was looking for alternatives for putting my kids in school. I'd lost my business. And I went back to school to figure out what I was going to do, because doctors said, well, here's the insulin for your diabetes, 2 shots in your stomach every day. It'll eventually be 4.
Mm-hmm.
Take this for the arthritis, take this for the bursitis, you know. And as for my son, we were told that he was brain damaged during the process. He was jaundice after birth and bilirubin levels high, and we were told he'd be permanently brain damaged. So we didn't have hope. I went back to school to learn cellular regeneration through nutrition and began my holistic practice because I was trying to find solutions for me and my family.
Right.
And then a friend of mine one day called me from California and said, oh my gosh, I just got hip to this thing. It's right up your alley. You've got to check this out. P.S. Got a $50 gift card for you. And sent me the link to back then what was called the 10-day celebrity transformation, right?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, if this is what it looks like it is,
Mm-hmm.
then I have found what I've literally prayed to God for. Because, you know, I was getting the knowledge, but I'm in Flint, Michigan. This is a food desert. I got to drive 75 miles to find something genuinely organic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so financially devastated at the time, I didn't pay rent so that I could get a double pack of the cleanse. And I told my friend, listen, you got to help me get this money back. Like, if this $50 gift card thing is legit, we got to do my health and we got to get this money back for me.
Yep.
So I did the 10-day transformation, really just out to see if this could save my life. And it did. Frankly, I began feeding my body in September 2014 with organic non-GMO superfoods with Purium. Mm-hmm. And it was my access to changing my lifestyle. Now, that was a blessing for me because I reversed all of the diseases I named, and I've lost 150 pounds.
Wow.
And I continue to deepen my results and just change my life shake by shake, tablet by tablet, you know, like it's a lot of times my food. I eat Purium a couple different 2-3 times a day and might have solid meals or snacks 2 times a day because
Right.
I just don't have access to clean food in my area. And I'd rather just minimize what I'm getting that's compromised.
Got it.
And my son was, he was nonverbal until he was almost 4. I really was afraid that everything they said about him would be true. And he registered really high on the Asperger spectrum. He was emotionally really, really imbalanced. And so I started using the superfoods with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, it was like month after month, a new person was blossoming.
Wow.
And his frustration was diminishing because I remember when he was in his nonverbal stages, he'd get really upset about stuff and he'd go, did it. You knew he had words in there that needed to be expressed. He just couldn't form them.
Bless him.
And, over the years, and especially with the introduction of Biomedic and Epigenius, I get emotional.
Mm.
Today, if you were to see my son, he'll be 9, August 4th.
Mm.
And he walks, talks, runs, plays, sings, dances, draws, like you'd never know.
Wow.
You'd just never know.
Mm.
In the meantime, they had eczema. And so the Biomedic was crucial in reversing eczema for both of my sons. I have an older son that'll be 13 in October and Aiden will be 9 in August. So,
Wow.
this has been pivotal for us in our daily lives. And for people who, aren't necessarily, plant-based everything and vegan everything and organic everything, and maybe you don't know how to do it, or you don't have the finances or whatever it is that's a barrier, I assert that Purium Health product is the solution because it's such a potent and powerful way to get what you need for a few dollars a day. It's remarkable. And so that's what brought me right here.
Oh, thank you for sharing your story. It's so powerful. Oh, so powerful. Wow. Okay. So let's pivot. Let's pivot to your business. Okay. You're a diamond with Purium. You have achieved what we call the first level of leadership in Purium. Tell me what you're most proud of in your business with Purium.
I would say the honesty. I don't have to sell Purium. I mean, yes, I have to think about who I'm going to speak to and I've got to speak to them. Okay, so there's a sale that happens in the engagement or transaction. But it's just honest for me to talk to people and care.
Mm-hmm.
It's honest for me to see a mom feeding her kid a Lunchable and then watching that kid misbehave in 20 minutes and go, my kids used to react to the yellows and the reds and the preservatives too. And my kids used to deal with that too. Would you be open to taking this $50 gift card and checking out my snacks that are organic and non-GMO?
Yeah.
And it's just legit, and people are where people are at. Sometimes people are really ready for change and new information and shifting, and sometimes they're not, and you're just planting a seed or watering a seed. But it's a heartfelt, authentic expression of myself to be in this business and partnered with Purium.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Rebecca, what is the best part about being a mom on a mission?
Oh man, it's what I shared earlier with the petition. I'm nobody, like I'm a mom in Flint, Michigan. Who knows moms in Flint, Michigan, but I don't have to be just a mom in Flint, Michigan when I'm part of the Million Mom Movement. When I'm part of the Million Mom Movement, I'm part of a fierce panel and force field of energy that is out to make a difference in the world. And it's a giant wave. It's like, what's the difference between a drop in the ocean and a giant wave? You won't know me as the drop in the ocean, me from anything else, but we get all together and we go whoosh, and we make a lot happen that way. And so yoking up with the Million Mom Movement, not that I'm not just simply proud of being a brand partner with Purium, I am. but to specifically say, I stand as a mom in the Million Mom movement. I am part of the outreach arm of Purium, the part that is a community of activists and awakening and education and economic empowerment and drilling down into people's pantries. And I wasn't going to do that alone, but with all of you, I'm a force to be reckoned with.
Thank
that
you.
makes all the difference in the world.
Yay! Yes, you are, my dear. Oh, this is so juicy. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you so much for being on this council and bringing your passion every day to the work here of the movement and to your own Purium business, because I know that is how we're making a difference, is by being that person out in the world, educating, inspiring, sharing our stories, and elevating the conversation around what is going on with our food system. So thank you, Rebecca, for all that
You're
you
welcome.
are and all that you do every day. So grateful
Thank you,
to be on this
sister.
journey with you. Yay. All right. So I would like to now, you're going to hear from the entire council today, you guys. This is a first. So, and I'm putting Carmela on the spot. Carmela, not right now. I actually, but in a moment, I'd love for you to talk about scholarships, if you would. And Jody, I want to bring Jody on right now. Jody Parker is also on our Million Mom Movement Council, and she is an amazing woman who I got to interview last week. She's a mom of 3, and she's been through quite a bit. If you weren't here with us last week, I invite you to go back and listen to last week's Fierce Friday and hear Jody's story. Right now, though, what I'd like for Jody to share is, we have this segment on our Fierce Fridays called Hot Topic. And so I asked Jody today if she would share about the issue of glyphosate in hummus. How much of us like hummus? It's a staple in my kitchen, and sometimes I make it, sometimes I buy it. But there's a real issue with garbanzo beans in our hummus, conventional hummus. So Jody, are you here with us, my dear?
I am. I'm right here.
Yay, wonderful. Take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. So this came across, wait, hold on. Hey, Munchkin, hush. Sorry about that. Of course, she's been quiet the whole time until I turned my microphone on. So we came across this story this week. Environmental Working Group came out. They tested a number of different hummuses across the market, both conventional and organic. And they found that the amount of glyphosate, parts per million, let me grab it. I brought it up so that I'd have it right in front of me. Of the 37 conventional or non-organic chickpea and chickpea-based samples tested, nearly 90% of them had detectable levels of glyphosate. One sample had nearly 15 times as much glyphosate as EWG puts as a benchmark, and let's keep in mind that EWG's benchmark is lower than that of the FDA. And so why is this happening? This is what you guys really need to understand. It's not just in the conventional hummus and conventional garbanzo beans. It's also showing up in the organic. The parts per million is lower in the organic, but glyphosate, when it's sprayed, it can be blown on the wind. It can come down in the rain. It can be in the groundwater. So if they're not separating the organic fields from the conventional fields, you're still going to have glyphosate contamination. And the reason it's happening on garbanzo beans, because everybody's probably going, garbanzo beans aren't genetically modified. They aren't, at least not yet. Let's hope it stays that way. But usually you think of high glyphosate foods being ones that are genetically modified because they were genetically modified so you could spray them with glyphosate and not kill them. So that's what we usually think of. But they're also using glyphosate as a desiccant, which is how it's ending up in the oats and Cheerios, and how it's ending up in our lentils and our wheat and on our garbanzo beans. So what's a desiccant? It dries the crop out. So when they spray it right before they harvest the crop. And that does 2 things. number one, the plant knows it's dying, so it creates more beans, more seeds, more whatever. It increases the yield. The other thing that it does is it dries the plant out. And so when they go to process it, they don't have to leave it in the fields to dry out. They can just pick it up and carry on with it. And so it's permanently in your food. You can't wash it off. And, you know, step one is being educated, being aware. So Environmental Working Group is a really great place to look for these things. They're on top of it. Moms Across America is another organization who's really paying attention. And then of course we here at the Million Mom Movement, we're paying attention. So we're going to help share that with you, and we'll share that on our social media. I know Naiva shared it earlier this week. That's step number one. Step number two, make sure you're taking your biomedic, right? Get that, flush that on out of you, and your fiber and your antioxidants and your minerals, because glyphosate will take the minerals out of your body. It'll keep you from absorbing them. So not only is it making us all sick, it's actually keeping us from getting our nutrition. So that's the hot topic for this week as far as what they're finding, what they're doing about it. EWG has a petition about it. I'm sure we're going to have a petition about all of this at some point in time. But be educated, share with your mom friends, share the biomedic with people, make sure you're getting that deep nutrition. And, you know, that's where we are today. We've got to speak up. It is our voices and our dollars that are going to make the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Jody, would you be so kind as to put that link into the chat box for those that want to read that article? Thank you so much for your voice, Jody, and all that you do.
No problem.
We only have a few more minutes left, and this council interview series is taking up a lot of our time for the hour, but I thought it was really important for you all to really get to know who we are as people. And then we're going to be opening up the floor a lot more to your voices, like we've done in the past. So just know that if you come back, you will have more time to share. This is extraordinary right now because we are taking this time to really to hear from the council. I want you to know who the Million Mom Movement Council is. Last week, we interviewed Naiva, Jody, and Amy Venner, the founder and the founder of Purium, and the president of Purium, and the founder of the Million Mom Movement. So I'd like to call forth Carmela Velarde, who is another one of our council members. We're all here today. And Carmela, would you be so kind as to share about the Million Mom Movement scholarships?
My pleasure, Stephanie. So nice to have everybody on today. And thank you, Rachel, too, for also being the glue to hold us all together. So yes, the scholarships, so exciting. So we have given out and awarded over $150,000 already in scholarships. So this is a very big endeavor that Purium has taken on. Dave and Amy made a commitment to philanthropy to help families in economic need. So we, every single month, offer 4 new scholarships, but we've just added this month an additional 4 for really truly addressing the Black Lives Matter movement and really fostering diversity within our own community, which is a really important part of who Purium is. We're inclusive. We are all united by nutrition and plant medicine, and really being a community and being community focused. What I love, and being movement focused here too, we talk about the real issues. We don't skirt them. We talk about them and we get active. And that's how organized our company is we can address the issues that are happening politically, and we can say what our company is offering. So what is the scholarship at hand? Yes, you are going to receive $2,500 in retail of Purium superfoods over the span of 6 months. However, the most important part of the scholarship I have found after interviewing recipients, actually having applications through my own team go through, the most important thing to know is that we are empowering business within a new household. Because in order to become the impact that we need to be in this movement, we need to have 1,000 families committed to impacting 10 people each. Well, how are we going to do that? It's through our gift card marketing system and our mentorship program. So you have to be committed to receiving mentorship, becoming accountable, and really staying on track for the focus of the scholarship being an award. So our council has created different benchmarks, check-ins, and the coaching system that is unlike a typical brand partnership. We have a more structured way of helping these scholarship recipients, and I'm so honored to be able to be a part of the process, really, in ushering these wonderful families in. I'm complete.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So if you'd like to learn more about the Million Mom Movement and our scholarships, go to millionmommmovement.info/scholarships. And, you know, have some fun on that site. If you haven't been there, we have recipes, we have a blog. The blog is where we share our opinions. And if you have an idea for us that you want us to pursue, by all means, communicate with us. We want your recipes. We want to hear from you. Like I said, today's extraordinary. We're taking up a lot of the time today to really get to know the council. But going forward, we do want to hear your voices, and we will be opening up the Zoom to hear them. I'd like to just reiterate that at the top of the today's Zoom, we did launch a petition, and the petition link is right there. Thanks, Rebecca. It's right there in the chat box. And we'd love for you to sign that petition that is asking General Mills to remove glyphosate from their products, to go glyphosate free. Kellogg's has already said that they will go glyphosate free by 2025. And when I heard that, I got really excited, and then I was like, wait a minute. That's 5 years from now. That's not soon enough. And General Mills, where's your statement to the public telling us what you're going to be doing about your products? So that was really the impetus behind Fierce Fridays. We used to be a half hour. We're now an hour. We'd like to invite you all to please come back and bring 2 friends. Right? You know how this goes if you're a Purium brand partner. And if you're not a Purium brand partner, we want you to join our movement, to lock arms with us as the Million Mom Movement, and to learn what that means exactly, to share, to educate, to inspire, to open the hearts and minds of people that are, for whatever reason, are not making the connection between how they're feeling and what they're eating. This is what we do here at Purium every single day, is we help people make the connection. It's so important. And yet, as Taz was saying, as Naeva was saying, as Rebecca was saying, Jody, Carmela, we're all saying this all the time. We are the ones. We can't wait for the Avengers, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Avengers. We are the Holistic Justice League. We are the ones to be making the change on planet Earth. We can't wait for our governors. We can't wait for our mayors. We can't wait for the President of the United States. We are the ones we've been waiting for, all right? We're in action every single day as Purium brand partners, as moms on a mission, as women and men who are committed to changing what's going on in the United States of America in our food systems. So we are so happy that you're here with us. Please come back and join us next week. We meet here every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard. We can't do this without you. We're nothing without you. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And we look forward to working with you to make us, the Million Mom Movement, 1 million strong. That's my commitment. That's the commitment of this council. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.